Loading game number 5 of a best of 9. DRG against MKP. Make some noise, everybody.
And the game has now loaded up. So we will go on to our player introduction in the bottom right. Losing that last game, taking an economic risk that he was severely punished by. Give it up for Marine King Prime. His opponent, his nemesis, his rival. The best Zerg player in the world. Give it up for DRG.
Last game we saw a very well hidden all-in from DRG. It was quite well done, well timed, well executed, and MKP fell to it quickly, but he had a couple mistakes. You know, he had everything on the low ground trying to defend that. It seems like he thought it was only going to be roaches. The banelings just overwhelmed him. Now, if he had brought everything up to the high ground, there's a chance that he holds on right there. And then he has 3 orbitals, and maybe he can come back. Now, Tasteless, do you think that DRG on this map, Antigua Shipyard, a map that he has lost on before, a map that he finds quite difficult because of how hard it is to take that 4th base, should he do another build like that?
You know, that's a good question. I feel like the answer is yeah, but then, of course, I think Marine King would say the same thing, and he's probably just going to play defensively. But there, are a lot of different ways that you can do sneaky stuff to throw your opponent off. I'm also curious to see what is Marine King going to go for. He's starting to show us a lot of different builds.
Yeah, he is really varying it up. I would not be surprised if you're right and he goes quite defensive here. Something like a quick 3 command center, get those siege tanks out in siege mode, utilize the high ground, make some bunkers, and just power up your economy. Because when you hit a 3 base, huge max out timing push on this map, Zerg has a very hard time. They're trying to take their 4th. It's hard to hold on to. You're drop harassing a little bit. You go through that center with the watchtower, and that area is so important.
Yeah, absolutely. Marine King now going to go for a command center here. This is a map where you are so far away from your opponent. By the way, as you can see, DRG checking everywhere for a possible hidden bunker or hidden anything. And we have 2 gases now right up to the expander. Tosis, what's going on?
Definitely going up to that factory once again. He loves to do this. And it's just smart. You know, you want to hold the Zerg on 2 bases as long as possible, and going Hellions is a great way to do that. Now, will he go for a double factory build, or will he just chill on the 1 factory?
Only time will tell. While we have this downtime, I want to explain this map a little bit. And I know for those who've been watching, this may become a little bit redundant, but I really got to hammer this issue home, because if this turns into a long game, this is what it's going to be all about. The way that this map is shaped, you get your 3rd base, which we have a shot up there easily. Every other base is basically almost impossible to secure, whether you're Terran or Zerg. You can see the bases in the middle. That's not going to be easy. These other locations, pretty obscure. So the problem for the Zerg on this map is that the way that the Zerg against Terran works is Zerg gets the 4th base before the Terran.
Yeah.
So there's going to be this point in time, and Marine King may even just wait it out, that suddenly DRG is going to have to figure out how to somehow MacGyver his way into getting an expansion. However, at the same time, Terran does not have an easy time either. If Zerg can get Broodlords and Infestors and control that high ground in the middle at the Zelnaga Watchtower, well, then this just gets really messy as well.
Now, DRG, both these players doing interesting builds. DRG is going for the 4 Queen, and we see here that Marine King throwing down a tech lab and making a starport.
Banshee?
So it definitely could be Banshee, but that could also be Stim, just getting the Stim upgrade and making a medevac. A medevac with some Hellions and some Marines. You can do a lot of harassment against Zerg early on, and then you can always make that Viking to clear out Overlords that are scouting near your base.
Yeah, I remember watching Select do that a while ago. So, let's see. Okay, it will be a swap.
Ooh, he's going for the Banshee Tasteless, and he's mined a lot of gas at this point. He can get Cloak, and he does get Cloak.
Okay, so what this is, everybody, it's a 2-pronged attack. If you remember in the previous games, he did a Hellion, what was kind of like a mech Hellion all-in. and DRG deflected it, but then through Marine King's divine play, managed to come back. So right now it's possible as a mind game, he's trying to make it look like once again, DRG is going to experience the same strategy as they did in the previous set.
Yeah.
But there's a twist here. He's not doing that. He's getting half the number of Hellions, and he's going to fly in there with a Banshee with Cloak, and there's a very high chance that DRG may be completely caught off guard, and it may cost him the game.
But also DRG doing the exact same build as last game. He's using this 2 games in a row. It worked very well last game, and it may work this game as well because there's not going to be a ton of units.
The Drought sneaks over there and gets the hatchery.
Then I guess it's not going to be the same build. He's making all the roaches. He got his 3 gas and all, but he has no evolution chamber and no layer. This Cloaked Banshee could actually just end up winning the game alone.
This could just be...
He's even getting a macro hatch.
Oh, he's been duped. And I can only imagine the wicked heart palpitation that DRG just had as he saw that Banshee coming into his face.
He is still not thrown down any evolution chamber, and down it goes. Should be cloaking pretty soon.
I think he's going to, yeah, he cloaks shortly after, so that only now does he realize, oh my God, I need to get some kind of detection. He needs to focus down these drones. Evolution chamber only a 1/4 of the way complete. So many drones being killed. Can we get a count on how many drones are being killed in this Banshee? The number is now up to 8.
And is going to keep on going, targeting the queens as well. And, you know, when Cloak runs out, if he's killed all the queens, that is great, but great transfusions going down. That was a lot of wasted Banshee hits that could have been on drones. So, you know, the 4 queens really paying off here, saving a lot of lives. And this Banshee, though, has still done so much damage, 11 kills on it.
Okay, Spore Crawler's on the way here, but that was a lot of damage. That was a very, very scary amount of drone kills. And, you know, DRG is one of these guys, if you can cripple him early on, he doesn't get to go into that power mode where he gets to just get too many units. And another Banshee over here. I don't see an evolution chamber over there, Artosis. That expansion could be in some serious trouble.
It definitely could, but there's a lot of creep connecting everything. He's done a great job with those 4 queens, making that creep highway. And we're going to have the queens run up here and try to chase out that Banshee right away.
Whoa! No Cloak there.
Little mess up there, but he had his Spore on the way as well. Now we have Marauders, Stim halfway done, a lot of Hellions, and it looks like he almost just wants to go for it, but too many roaches there. What he wanted to do was snipe the queens with the Hellions and Marauders, and then let the Banshees go to town once again.
Wow, double engineering bay. Double eBay, double upgrades.
You know, I love builds like this. The Banshees and the Hellions are keeping everything in the base of DRG. If he runs out with roaches, then the Hellions can go in.
Right.
If the roaches start to get scary, of course, Banshees can kill them off. And he's just being so greedy during it, which is really smart against such a great player like DRG. He's taken the 3rd, he's upgrading heavily, and just trying to keep DRG over on the other side of the map until he has enough to stop everything.
All right, the Hellions regrouping in the middle. We really haven't seen a strategy quite like this. With the double eBay incorporated.
Yeah,
this is actually very new.
It's a great little twist on it. And look at that, great economy going on. In fact, right now, 59 SCVs and 3 orbitals worth of mules against 75 drones.
But you know what? 75 drones is the magic DRG number, it seems.
That's true. That's true. He does make a lot of units after 75 on 3 bases. And these roaches will just go down. Well, more roaches join us, so I guess not. The Banshees, though, putting a clock on them.
I don't know. Oh, I'm sorry, Joseph. I'm totally confused. I don't know why he's doing this.
Yeah,
this is like,
these roaches are not going to be too effective.
A bit panicked right now.
And look at that, a Stim. He's just going to kill them all off so quickly. And Marine King really gaining a big lead here. 137 supply to just 123. And that is going to plummet further and further.
And in fact, I think the roaches might not even get home. I mean, these Banshees are just dealing so much damage.
Well, right now, DRG is just frantically making Zerglings, but will that really even be enough? We still have a lot of Hellions and a lot of Stim Marine Marauders in here. I mean, there's not really much defense for DRG out on the map. He has only 19 lings right now.
Yeah,
but
he's got
32 Banelings morphing. That is a huge amount. Baneling speed is not done yet.
And the siege tank is in siege mode.
And he's going to go for it. A lot of damage being done here. Running back, the Baneling's starting to connect. The Siege Tank targeting Baneling as best it can.
Oh, but hitting the Siege Tank, that might cost him the game. The Siege Tank was hit by Banelings. The Banelings are supposed to hit the Marine.
That was crazily cost efficient for Marine King. He's killing off all those Banelings so easily.
Look at this, he split his army up. He's focus firing the hatch. If he loses the hatch, I don't know if DRG can recover in this game.
Oh man, right now Marine King is just monstering through this poor DRG character, and he is in a ton of trouble. He has Baneling speed now, a lot of Lings, a lot of Banes, but he is down by like 30 supply. This
is the sign of a good player. He leaves.
That's right.
What do you do when you're ahead?
You attack and try to kill him?
No, you get more ahead.
Oh, I think you're right, Tasteless.
I heard a really smart commentator once say that.
He's even making a fourth base. He's just saying, all right, now it's time for me to turtle up a little bit, take a fourth, and kind of giggle at you because I have 4 bases when you have 2.
Now, I'm even impressed that he was smart enough to not try to kill the macro hatch. Once you kill a base like that, get the hell out of there.
Yeah, he did
Go
so
back
much
and
damage.
be safe. You've done the damage. Now it's his problem. And you can see here's DRG trying to figure out something. A counterattack, perhaps, not on Marine King's watch.
Well, right now he does have a flock of mutas flying across the map, and that flock of mutas are going to meet no missile turrets in the main base. So he might be able to do a decent amount of damage, but he's going to have to pull them back because Marine King is on the prowl.
All right, we have the SCVs taking a ton of hits, and Marine King does not care, actually. Look at the mini-map. His army's moving up. He can just eventually leave. Okay, here we go. The real action now in this, the front of DRG's base, and he is going to stop this hatchery. He might even get the secondary base.
Oh, the Banelings, though, running up here, and the Marines have nowhere to go, trying to spread and move around. And DRG actually killing off a big portion of the army, but still a ton of Marauders left over and some Marines as well. The Siege Tanks got cleaned up, but the Mutas still doing harassment in the main base of Marine King Prime.
Marine King says the micro is hard out right now. The drones are being evacuated. Now the drones are being executed. More Banelings coming in here. He's got a micro perfectly. Marauders tanking for the Baneling hits. There's still even a cloaked Banshee over here. An Overseer being morphed. Both. Okay, now one hatchery gone. Can he make it 2?
And right now, Marine King is up by over 50 supply. This is just a terrible situation for DRG, and I don't know if he can even kill this off. His mutas have come home to try to help defend this, but it looks like it may, in fact, not be enough.
Yeah, he's going to get the hatch. It's official. This hatchery will go down. DRG receiving yet another crippling blow.
Well, DRG, I'm not even sure what he wants to try from here. His main is basically mined out, and GG.
KO.
Marine King taking the series lead once again, making it 3-2. I want to hear what DJ Wheat has to say about this.
Okay, backup nerds, your thoughts.
You know, Wild Day 9 appears. You know, in the first time these two players met, we talked about how Marine King uses compositions that you just don't really see that much in the matchup. But he's using multiple different compositions, and then in that game, the Banshee Marauder Hellion push on 3 bases while getting double upgrades. I mean, Marine King can do literally any style he wants to do, and that relentless aggression, again, keeping DRG from doing any harassment effectively.
I loved his unit control. I liked even the early Banshee harass in that one. Looked really good. Handled the roaches quite nicely, so it looked like DRG was really going to start stacking up that army more and more. And again, like these two guys, they truly look like champions when they face one another. I mean, it's just such great play across the board. And you know, now Marine King Prime up 1 additional match, making it 3-2. DRG back on 1 foot.
You know, that game, DRG, you know, that had to be frustrating for him, losing that game like that. You remember my quote from earlier.
Yeah, clenched fish.
Yeah, yes, you cannot play StarCraft with clenched fists. Well, you can't do it with fish in your hands either, man. Put that fish back in the water. What are you even doing next to a lake? I don't even get good internet there, but no, seriously, he's got to stay focused. That was a frustrating game. And I'm curious, though, because Marine King Prime is doing about as many different unit composition mix-ups as DRG is.
It's actually looking kind of like the beta where Terrans would just roll dice to decide what units they wanted to kill you with. But here, Marine King is doing it so expertly. He's choosing these weird combinations and trying to confuse DRG as to exactly how to counter them. For instance, that Roach attack that we saw, where we're like, whoa, what is he doing here? That's how confused he was as to what was going on.
Yeah. He thought, wait a minute, he doesn't have that many Hellions. I bet I can go down there and do some
Marines
damage.
and Marauders,
and then
Medevacs, tanks, and the Roaches just all die.
Exactly.
He has no idea what Marine King's doing right now.
Yeah, well, and I mean, the classic result of someone doing a lot of really surprising tactics is to just play a little bit defensively minded, which, sounds like a reasonable thing to do. Sure. But when it comes to expanding, that's where we really see Marine King Prime leaping ahead, planting down an extra command center. Even in that game that we just saw Marine King Prime lose, if he managed to stay alive, he'd have 3 bases very early on. And as we've been seeing, DRG's been put in a lot of tough spots from Complexity's Heart in the lower bracket finals, now being put in more tough spots, and we're seeing fewer attempts to take more expansions, more macro hatches being planted, and Marine King Prime isn't going to stop attacking. He isn't going to stop trying to deny you from taking even your 3rd base, and I really think that Dong Regu has to just open up his play a little bit, let him tell himself that it's time to play more comfortably, because this is a best of 9.
Yeah.
Whoever gets to 5 wins first wins the series. So that's a lot of more games for DRG to come back.
All right, guys, one more time. Do it for esports. Do it for MLG. Get on Twitter. Hashtag MLG. Spread the word. Talk about the games. Talk about who you think is going to win. Talk about how awesome esports is and how it's the future. And while you're doing that, we're going to take a quick commercial break. So stay tuned. We'll see you soon.